I'm going to start by saying there is no ingredient that is more effective for fighting the signs of aging than vitamin A. Actually, that's a lie, it's sunscreen. But it's not always easy to navigate the different names, strengths, dosages, and how they fit into our routine. It's a really confusing space. Plus, it doesn't play nicely with all skins. So in today's video, we're going to talk about all things retinoids and which could be right for you. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here and this sounds like an interesting topic, please hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. So this is a topic I'm asked about a lot. What product should I use? Which strength can I use this with that? And what order does it go into my skincare? And do I even need it? Well, vitamin A, also known as retinoid, is the true superpower of skincare. Now you may know it as retinol or retinaldehyde or tretinoin, but whatever the name, it is the most researched and effective ingredient you can get for anti-aging benefits, aside from sunscreen. When we're young, our skin is plump, it's firm, it has like this scaffolding that kind of props everything up. And that's because it's full of the things that keep it lifted, like collagen, elastin, hyaluronic acid. But over time, our body produces less and less. In fact, collagen production peaks in our 20s, and we lose 1% of that production every year until we hit menopause, where we lose 30% in the first 5 years. This is not good news, but retinoids are here to help. They are the gold standard, and they are clinically proven to increase cell turnover, increase collagen and elastin production, reduce fine lines and wrinkles. It normalizes our sebum production. It thickens the dermis. It lightens and even prevents age spots. It improves the texture of our skin. You guys, this is the Mac Daddy. Now, retinoids are an umbrella term for all products derived from vitamin A. They're known by a lot of different names: retinol, retinol palmitate, retinaldehyde, retin-A, tretinoin. They're often used interchangeably, even though they're quite different. The main difference is defined by how quickly it does its job. There are 4 main types of retinoids. First is the only active form, and that is called retinoic acid. It is the most effective because it's the strongest, and for most of us, it's prescription strength and can only be administered by doctors. Now we're talking US, UK, Australia, Canada, Ireland. Now it can be obtained over the counter at lower levels in some countries like Spain, Portugal, and Mexico, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Now this is most commonly known as tretinoin, or by the brand name retin-A. Now this is the only retinoid that is bioavailable, and that means that when you put it on your skin, it knows exactly what to do with it and starts working straight away. And it generally comes in strengths of 0.025, 0.05, and 0.1%. Now this stuff is strong, which is why doctor supervision is required, and it can be very highly irritating to the skin. Now, if it's used too quickly or too aggressively, it can cause burning, stinging, peeling, and severely dry skin. It is not pretty. I've been there. What I do find interesting is that I've seen prescriptions given to first-time users instructing them to apply this every other night. Personally, I would not do that. I think we need a different approach, and we're going to get to that later. And by the way, this is the product that I use on a daily basis. Next are the over-the-counter retinoids in order of strength. After retinoic acid for strength is retinaldehyde, also known as retinal with an A. This is the strongest of the cosmetic products we can get over the counter. Now, your body has to convert the retinaldehyde into retinoic acid at a cellular level. That means it's one conversion away. Now that makes it about 10 times weaker than tretinoin. So that means it's less irritating, which is great for our skin, but it still packs a punch and it will deliver results. It generally comes in strengths of 0.05 to 1%. Now, the good thing about retinaldehyde is it also has antibacterial properties, so it's really good for acne-prone skin. Now, if I wasn't on a prescription, then this would be my preference. So next in line is retinol with an O. This is the next strongest, and it's also the most commonly used. You can find retinol products pretty much everywhere from every brand. So this is 2 conversions away from retinoic acid, making it approximately 20 times weaker, which means it's really, really good for sensitive skin, but it will still deliver results over time. A solution around 0.3% is optimum for the sensitive folks. Then the next category are called retinol esters, such as retinol palmitate or retinol propionate. Now, these products are 3 conversions away from retinoic acid, which means it's much milder and much easier to tolerate. However, there are questions around how effective they are. Personally, I wouldn't bother, but that's just me. But then there are a lot of people who just can't tolerate any form of retinoid, and that's okay. There are plant-based alternatives that are much gentler to the skin. For example, there is research that shows that bakuchiol offers a range of anti-aging benefits, including reduction of fine lines and wrinkles, as well as evening out the skin tone. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey. Now, for me personally, I have a very unstable and tumultuous relationship with retinoids, despite the fact that I'm committed. I first started about the age of 42, and you know what? It went beautifully. I've always been a go big or go home kind of gal, so I jumped straight into tretinoin with a visit to my GP. I didn't even start with over the counter. So I asked her if I could start on the 0.05%, but I had a plan to reduce the probability of irritation. Now, it's kind of funny because she didn't even know what tretinoin was. This was about 11 years ago. So she said, give me a couple of days, let me do some research, and I'll come back to you. And she did. She came back, wrote me the prescription, and off I went to the pharmacy. Now, after a ton of research, I knew the safest way for me to integrate this into my routine was to only use it once a week for the first month. So I only used it on a Sunday. And then the second month, I added in a Wednesday. The third month was a Friday, and so on. So it took me 7 months to reach daily use. But you know what? I had no side effects. I had no difficulty whatsoever. Piece of cake. So I used this every day for probably 4 years without any incident. But while on a work trip, I decided on a whim to pick up some tretinoin from a local pharmacy. I was in Portugal, in Lisbon, where you can get it without prescription. I could not tell you what happened, but pretty much straight away, my face told me it wasn't happy. I developed unstoppable peeling around the corners of my nose as well as the corners of my mouth. And if you know, you know. Now, I knew these were relatively common side effects for new users, but I'd been around the retinoid block a few times. I tried to ride it out. I tried all of the products to fix it. And in the end, the only thing I could do was stop. So I gave up retinoids completely. So it took me about another year and a half to try again because I know the research is there. I know it works. So I started off with these Elizabeth Arden retinol ceramide capsules, these little capsules, because I love those ceramide products. They're so super kind to the skin. I was willing to give it a try. No problems. So then I moved up to products that contain retinaldehyde, and again, I had no irritation whatsoever. So then I decided it was time for tretinoin. But instead of going back to my GP and getting a prescription, I signed up with an online compound pharmacy. And these are subscription services where a physician creates a formula specific to my needs, and it's shipped out to me every month. So I was taking retinoic acid combined with hydroquinone, which fights hyperpigmentation. Double whammy, yay. It was brilliant for a while. So I started off on a 0.025%, which is a really safe starting point, and I kept asking them to increase my strength. I just wanted to get higher, higher, higher. So eventually I was up to the 0.1%, and that's about as strong as you can get. But then I started a YouTube channel, and guess what came along with that? Overstimulation. You know, I was chopping and changing products all the time. I was over exfoliating. I was pretty much doing all the things that you shouldn't do, and my skin got pissed off. So I had to stop all actives. We're talking vitamin C, exfoliants, everything for about a year and a half. Long story short, I fixed my skin, I fixed my routine, and I have now gone back to compound pharmacy tretinoin. So I use Skin and Me, and you can only get this in the UK, by the way, but I know there are similar ones in the US. But now I use it in a different order to buffer my skin, and all is right with the world. And that leads me to a couple of pointers. I have some recommendations for those of you who might be new to retinoids or experience challenges using them. Number one, the best thing is to use this at night and apply this to clean and dry skin. And I'm talking super dry. It does not play nicely with water. So if you're starting out, I would leave 20 minutes, 30 minutes after cleansing before you apply it. Next, avoid certain areas. Avoid the eyelids, the corners of the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. This is where extreme peeling occurs. You can use an occlusive like Vaseline or Aquaphor on those areas to act as a barrier. Only apply a pea-size amount for the face, neck, and chest. Do not overdo it. This is not a more is better kind of a situation. Also, it's best not to mix with a lot of other actives. So I don't use this with my AHA or BHAs. Do not use this alongside benzoyl peroxide or L-ascorbic acid. Just use those in the morning. Now, an exception would be another form of vitamin C called tetrahexyldecylascorbate. It is a much gentler and more stable form of vitamin C. You could use those together. The next tip: start low and start slow. Even if you're instructed, don't use this more than twice a week. You need to let your skin acclimatize. As I had said before, if you're going in with the big guns and you haven't used it regularly, just use it once a week. Let your skin get used to it. Trust me, you will be doing yourself a favor. Guys, you must wear sunscreen every day. I mean, you have to wear sunscreen every day anyway. All the good that retinoids are doing for your skin will be completely undone by not protecting it. Never less than an SPF 30 every single day. I prefer a 50 myself. Consider buffering or sandwiching your products to reduce irritation. This means applying other skincare products first and then your retinoid. This is now what I do every single day. For me, I do a double cleanse and then I do my devices, which are radio frequency or microcurrent or whatever, an LED, and then I do my skincare routine. Retinoid is last for me. So I do my hydrators, my serum, my moisturizer, and then I do my tretinoin. And sometimes I'll even put an oil on top. And the other thing is just listen to your skin. If I start peeling, I stop. I have learned my lesson. That just means that it's too much for me and it's too much for my skin. So then go down a level in strength or use it less frequently or use it after your other products. There are ways to incorporate retinoids without irritation, but you need to listen to your skin. Now, I'm often asked, when should I start? Now, I'm not going to lie. I wish I'd started a little bit earlier, like say in my mid-30s with low levels of retinoids. Now, if you're in your 40s, you should use it. I mean, just do it. If you're in your 40s, you need to be using something. And it's actually never too late. You can actually start a retinoid at any time. I just don't think you need it when you're young. You don't need it in your 20s. Another question: what specific products would I recommend? I'll provide a list below in the description bar of the products that I'd recommend in each of these categories. Like, I'm truly excited because there are so many incredibly great options and some at incredible price points. And they just weren't around when I started. So now I truly think there is something out there for everyone. So guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you even learned something new. I'd love to know, are you using retinoids? And if so, which ones? And have you had any trouble? I've heard so many stories and I would actually love to hear yours. So thank you so much for tuning in and for joining me today and for making it this far. And I hope to see you next week. Bye.
So can men use that?
You actually do use that.
What?
I can't believe I didn't even mention that. Gary Gleason,
What?
you use a retinol every night.
Do I?
You do, and it works, doesn't it?
The thing I put either side of my nose.
Correct.
Am I meant to be putting that in more parts of my face?
Well, you absolutely can. Do you only put that on your nose?
Yeah.
Men, are you listening?
I thought it was a moisturizer.
It is a moisturizer with retinol. If you look at it, it actually says retinol.
I might have to listen to this video.